We've all been there before. We load in, ready to win some games, and your first teammate of the day opens the match by saving you and own goals immediately. What can you possibly do about it? You have to stop caring about winning games. Let me explain. As I've begun coaching newer players on the ins and outs of Rocket League, I've noticed that most of them have one thing in common. They all want to win games. Now, at face value, this might seem like a good mindset to have. After all, who doesn't want to win in a competitive environment? In this video, I'm going to explain why caring about winning is killing your MMR and explain what you should be caring about to improve at the game. Let's get started. First, I'm going to explain how caring about winning is hurting you. If your sole focus is winning games, then the situation from the beginning of the video is probably really going to tilt you. After all, something completely out of your control has impacted the game so much that winning is almost not possible. Not caring about winning is not a new concept, but the focus of this video is to give you an alternative thing to care about. The root of what you should be caring about is things that you can control. You can't control your teammates, you can't control other players, you can only control you, your inputs, your decisions, your gameplay. It's time we talk about expected value. But what is expected value? Rocket League is a game of chain reactions. In every single Rocket League match you have ever played, you're constantly making decisions that impact the outcome of the game. Should I go for the ball? Should I grab boost? Should I pass it or shoot it? Each of those decisions has an expected value, meaning you can expect the decision to either have a positive or negative value on the game. If it has a positive value, then you can expect good things to happen most of the time. If it has a negative value, then you'd expect bad things to happen most of the time. Like I mentioned earlier, you can't control your teammates or your opponents. This means that even though a decision might have a positive expected value, it won't always yield the outcome you were looking for. Often, this leads players to think certain decisions are bad when they're actually good, and more often, leads players to think decisions are good when they are actually bad. Being able to know when a decision has a positive expected value is a skill. Just like flip resets or air dribbles, it takes practice and comes with time. To evaluate a decision that you have made, think about these three questions. 1. Does this decision secure or prolong our possession of the ball? 2. Can I do this reliably? And 3. Does this decision leave me in a situation where I can defend the worst case scenario? To illustrate this idea, let's look at one of my past replays. This is a solo queue 2v2 match, and after this touch right here, me and my teammate are put in kind of a bind. Immediately, my first idea is to try to turn this play into a pass, and let me explain why. Let's start with the first question. Does passing here secure or prolong our possession of the ball? I would say yes. Both of the opponents are under the ball, meaning that if they had to jump for it, it would be really awkward for them, but if we just let it fall, they can collect possession pretty easily. Second question, can I get this pass off reliably? This is where your individual skill comes into play, and you really just have to be honest with yourself. For me, I know that I can pretty reliably get this off the backboard for my teammate. And the third question, does passing here leave me in a situation where I can defend the worst case scenario, which is probably just them collecting possession of the ball? I would say yes. Most of the time when I land on the wall, I'm going to try to keep as much momentum as possible so I can get back if they collect possession of the ball. Now, even though this is a pass play to my teammate, notice that none of the criteria or questions that I asked myself really depend on whether or not my teammate makes the shot. If he makes it, then awesome, we get a goal. But if he doesn't, I still made a play that had a positive expected value on the game. Let's see how this plays out though. Notice how I land in the corner here to keep momentum going, and my teammate gets the goal. To be clear, this play that I cherry picked because it worked has nothing to do with the point that I'm trying to make. The point is that if I care more about winning than I do making good decisions, and my teammate misses that ball, then I already am tilted and have a lower likelihood of winning the game. By thinking about how this decision would play out over a long period of time across a bunch of different games, it prevents me from even caring whether or not he hits this individual shot, because the burden of whether or not the play has a positive expected value is on me, not anyone else. Ultimately, the winner of Rocket League matches is decided by which team capitalizes on the other team's mistakes more. You can't control the mistakes your teammate makes, and you can't control the mistakes that the other team makes, but you can control your own mistakes and how well you capitalize on the mistakes of others. Understanding that mistakes are simply a part of the game at every level of play makes yours a little easier to contend with and makes you less frustrated when your teammate makes them as well. I hope you guys learned something from this and can apply it in your own games. It helped me take the next step in understanding where my weaknesses are as a player, and I hope it does the same for you. Just focus on being a good teammate and doing the best you can with whatever hand that you're dealt. Thanks for watching.